We're here with Jafar, Hamzah, and Jafar, why don't you just let us know a little bit about what you do and what you're involved in right now.
Well, the first about myself, I'm from Aceh, the westernmost tip of Indonesia, a province which is struggling against the Indonesian government, for the injustice behavior of Indonesian government and military practice in this province. Uh, I was a lawyer of Indonesian Legal Aid Institute in Medan, and currently I'm living in New York and as a chairman of the International Forum for Aceh. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to help the people of Aceh, where I came from, in the struggle for peace and justice to our homeland, Aceh. There's a lot of tragedy in Indonesia, mainly in the last 97, 98, 99, and no one has been investigated. So all of this left to question why no any case has been investigated by the government. So the answer for me is very clear that the government behind this. I don't think that the military ever think how to rationalize. They never think about rationalizing of what they did. So what really happened in Aceh in terms of in the context of Indonesia, the Indonesian government want Aceh, but they don't want the people of Aceh. There is not any justification for the hanging upside down to death 6 month old baby on the trees. There is no justification. You force a 10-year-old boy to have sex with his own mother. At the same time, there is not any justification to force a father to have sex with his own son. 3,000 at least people were killed, 2,000 were disappeared, this at least, and more than 16,000 children left orphan. I think because the Indonesian government, the Indonesian military, which have so many time involved in this kind of atrocities since the era of 1966 to 70s, that they kill uh, some people said at least 1 million of member of communist party. So by being communist, can you kill them? Can you use it as justification to kill the people just by ideological belief or political affiliation? So this is the question. And the international community ignore it, not any prosecution to against them. So I think the international community make them so spoiled. So this is the problem. So when you let them go free without any prosecution, then they will think to do it again, to repeat it again. So this happened, so bloody regime. They just use the tank to shoot against the crowd in Jakarta, in the northern Jakarta, Tanjung Priok. At least about 400 people were killed. Using the tank against the people, just another Tiananmen. It looked that the international community just let that happen without any plan to prosecute them. So this, I think, in the future, this will be repeated again because they fear or nobody care. So the U.S. government and the European countries still benefit from the Indonesian condition for decades, which has benefited the U.S. government and the European countries and another developing countries. I came from Aceh, from Luxmawe, from the Mobile Oil neighborhood. So the housing of Mobile staff, Mobile Oil employees, just in my village. And behind my village, That's the Ranchong camp, the one of the worst torture camp. Yeah, belong to Indonesian Special Unit, military special unit, and this was owned by PT Arun, which is the partner of Mobil Oil. And according to some witnesses, the Mobil Oil plant was used also by the military as a place to torture the people. And according to some other witnesses, the vehicle of Mobil was used by the military to carry these atrocities. So, by providing this kind of help to the military, not to talk about other things, I think this is a kind of involvement. You know that the military, there is no reason not to know about this, that the military killed the people, because you can see the bodies everywhere on the side of the road. And even the worst thing is several victims, yeah, were picked up by the military when they work, during the business hour, when they work at the Mobil Oil office. Mobil Oil in Lok Sumawe or in Aceh has, I don't know exactly the amount of the staff, but at least I believe almost 1,000. And these atrocities in Aceh has been going on for more than a decade, since 1989. From 1989 to 1993, you can see the bodies everywhere. If you have a, let's say, a store, you live in the market, in the, what do you call it, in town, you open your door in the morning, then some people find the bodies fall down because they put the bodies behind the store. And this happened in the kitchen of Mobil Oil, in the bedroom of Mobil Oil. So how come they say they don't know? If this only happened once, or let's say 1 year, okay, they can say they don't know. Even it's really hard when you have eyes, about 2,000 eyes, which means 1,000 people, right? If the American people can press the government to ask the Mobil to make accountability or clarification or even the U.S. government to conduct investigation here in Aceh about the tendency of the Mobil Oil involvement in these human rights atrocities, that would be good. So I think the U.S. people can bring a pressure against U.S. government to carry the investigation, because I believe that for criminal act that as Mobil did, as Mobil does, they cannot escape the U.S. law. So they have to do it. They have to press the government to investigate the case. So don't let the people just talk about it, but to make it sure, they should start with investigation, and then they have to ask the responsibility from Mobil. By its involvement in Aceh, yeah, in the atrocities in Aceh, Mobil do not only break the law, the humanitarian law and so on, but the main thing is it's break the U.S. law and what the people here believe. Mobil is a multinational corporation. Mobil is built a company from the United States. Yeah, that the government, I mean the U.S. government, can bring a lot of pressure against Indonesia government, and Indonesian government very much depend on the United States also. So they cannot say as what the national company Indonesia said, they are afraid of the military and so on, because multinational Mobil Oil has the power to refuse. Mobil Oil should come as a gentleman to recognize what really happened, and if they don't want to, the people just interpret in their own way, they should conduct investigation. Yeah, Mobil itself should conduct investigation and then put things into accountability. and then we will be a friend again. And one thing that I want to say that the Acehnese welcome the mobile oil to do business in Aceh. But of course, we cannot welcome them to kill our brothers, to kill our parents, to kill our children. I believe Indonesian government, Indonesian military, and some of the Indonesian people press us to have our own independent state. So that's the question. So they make us to fight against the Indonesian government. For the last 10 years, the atrocities have been occurred in Aceh. So how come we expect to live within this situation? We are so strange in our own home. They treated us so strange. They treated us as a foreigner in the place that we Acehnese contributed a lot, not to talk more than the others, but we contributed a lot. So this is what they did to us. And the other thing is another aspect why I think relevant to talk about independence or to support the idea of referendum that the students in Aceh are demanding now, because of the cultural gap between we the Acehnese and the majority of Indonesia who are Javanese. In Java, criticize means subversive. The culture based on the class in the society. They have the lower class, they have the middle class, they have the highest class, which they call it Ningrat. The highest class, the government. The middle class is the third district government, and so on. And you, the people, the lowest class. So in this kind of culture, situation of culture, you cannot criticize the higher class. But we in Aceh do not know this kind of culture. We talk to the leaders in in the same way we talk to our friend. So when we criticize the government in Aceh, we do not mean as that's politically against him, or let's say as something in term of subversive, but they understand it. The Indonesian government, who are dominated by Javanese people, understand it that way. So now we have to face, we Acehnese as a nation have to face another nation in our home, the nation that's culturally different to us. That's the second. This is the second factor. The third is the way the Indonesian government behave. They only, as I said before, they want Aceh, but they don't want we Acehnese. They go to Aceh just to exploit our natural resources, and then they send the military to torture our people. So that's the problem. So I think if a thief came to your house, they will tie your hand and then do everything, get your wealth, and then rape your wife. I think you have no any other option instead of whatever cost will be that you have to fight, you have to defend yourself. And that is what happened to the Acehnese. We have, how you say, the robber, yeah, the robber get into our house, not only not only taking our wealth, our properties and so on, but also they rape our children, they rape our mother in front of our eyes. Yeah. So just in as an example, in 1997, Indonesian government collect from us 32 trillion rupiah, while in return they only give us, and they say themselves as very good. I mean, the central government said they are very good government. They return only 290 billion, less than 1%. And they ask why we protest. For we in developing countries, which in many ways actually that's the soft word of underdeveloped countries, we really depend on our environment. Here, if you don't have money, the worst thing you go to the bank without any discrimination. If your credit, what do you call it? If your record is good, then they will give money, right? In Indonesia, we have hundreds of banks, but today, when a lot of banks go to bankrupt, you see that they just give loan to conglomerate, to the richest people, to the rich, with very small percentage go to the people who are poor, who are majorities of Indonesian population. So in this kind of condition, the life of the people, yeah, which are mainly traditional people or traditional life, so depend on the river and depend on the environment. So if you pollute the river, then you kill the people who depend their life on the river. They get the fish from the river, they sell into the market, and then from them, they will buy something to eat. Here, if you pollute the river, then you cannot enjoy the river. So just recreational right. While we in developing countries see it as the right to life. So this is the difference. You have to see environment with the people there, with the interdependence between the environment and the people. The thing that maybe you will not find anymore here, but it used to be here. When the mobile through the west to the rice field in Aceh, the people then cannot harvest because the rice field were polluted. I think that's the worst thing, when the consumers do not want to pay attention or do not have consciousness to question. When they see a piece of paper, they never question where this paper came from or made of.
We're doing this interview so that some of it, unfortunately not all of it, could be on the CD that this band is putting together. And I just wanted to say that the name of the CD is a handbook for planetary progress, and I think that having this interview with you makes it quite clear why it should have such a place in that kind of a theme. And Jafar, I mean, you sit here separated only by a table,
Right.
and really at night only by a matter of blocks.
Right.
And these things are happening while we sleep. And planetary progress does not mean marching down the street and caring only about 10 square blocks that surround you. Caring about the planet means listening to people like you who know about things that are happening in what really is the planet, because despite what many people think in our country, America is not the planet.